G'day YouTube, Max right here, and a little bit of a fun video here for you today. We're going to be going through Alessio Rastani. I've been a subscriber to this guy for a while, and I really enjoy his channel. I think he's 250,000 odd subscribers, are very well deserved. You should check it out. And so sorry for a little bit of the clickbaity thumbnail and headline, but no, this is a pretty friendly toned video because just for those of you who don't know, from what I understand, I believe Alessio has been like a full-time trader, made his living from trading for many, many years. I've been trading for the last like 6 months. I actually made the vast majority of my money as a long-term macro investor and entrepreneur. So I'm learning this. But in this particular video, Alessio's put out a thesis in this particular video dated October 28th, and it was a similar thesis to the one dated just a few days before. And there's like 4 central components that he's kind of bringing up, and I agree with one of them and I disagree with 3 of them. And so I thought it'd be a fun way. We'll go through some of his points here, and I'm hoping to actually learn a lot because, as I say, Alessio's been trading for much longer than myself, and so I think it would be interesting. Maybe we can get a dialogue started. Maybe we could do an interview too. That would be super fun. So the 4 things that he's kind of sharing with is, number one, the one that I agree with, and kudos to Alessio for doing this. I don't see many other people talking about it, but there is I think there's a big serious concern about what's going to happen in other markets, stock market, real estate, etc. over the next few months. And if there is a big macro shock, it's going to be big enough that it's going to hurt the Bitcoin price. And so that was an important thing that he came up with. I agree with it wholeheartedly. And so it's just cool to have someone else sharing that opinion, voicing that opinion. And so I appreciate that. I agree with that thing. The next thing he brought up was that he was very concerned that this Bitcoin explosion in price here, it's like a 30% run up, happened largely without Ethereum. Ethereum is not participating in a meaningful way, and Ethereum is not leading the charge. And I have a very different opinion on this. I predicted it a while back. Let's go and find a Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance has been in this channel for quite a while, going back and forth. And way back, I made a video about it here, and I also made a video here when we did the breakout of this trend line, that this is the end of the DeFi bubble. Ethereum it had its day, and it'll have its day again, no doubt about it. But I predicted here and confirmed it here that we're going to happen. We're going to bounce off this trend line and head back up towards this trend line. And we've seen that play out the last couple of months. And I think it's just yin and yang, right? The Bitcoin is going to outperform Ethereum sometimes. Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin sometimes. And right now, no doubt about it, we are in a trend. Now, this is Bitcoin dominance, not Ethereum, but I think it kind of tells the story a little bit better. So I use it. But no doubt, we are moving away from Bitcoin to a degree. At least that's the trend right now. The short-term trend, I think, is heading back up towards this trend line. And so it doesn't concern me at all. In fact, it was expected and predicted by myself right here on this channel that Bitcoin is going to outperform Ethereum over this next little period till we get back up to that trend line. At that trend line, I think I'm going to maybe, I'm not sure if I'll sell any Bitcoin. I just got a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. I suspect what I'll do is I'll jump in quite heavily on Ethereum at this point. So yeah, disagree with that thing about that Ethereum not leading the way is a concern. Next point he brought up is the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin. And this is it's a really important point. I think it's the most fascinating thing to discuss in this whole arena right now, is because for the last month or so, Bitcoin has just gone up 30%. It's been crushing it. Everything else has been going sideways or slightly down. I'm talking gold, silver, stock market, foreign stock markets, real estate, the whole bit, right? Bitcoin has just broken correlation, but only for the last 30 days. That is far from confirmed. But he speaks about it. Let's just speak about a very black and white scenario, very black and white, in that it either has correlation or it doesn't, or it's like if Bitcoin's had that performance, then it's either broken correlation long term, or one of the 2 things are lying. And I think there's some shades of gray there that need to be considered. I think we are at the beginning stages, and this will ebb and flow as well, but we're in the beginning phases of Bitcoin breaking ranks and not being correlated. Now, in those beginning phases, it's not just, okay, flip the switch and it's now not correlated. Bitcoin has shown enormous strength to have such an incredible performance while everything else was just being stagnant, right? But does it have the strength to not pull back and not pull back significantly if the stock market comes down 20, 30%? If there's a huge liquidity crisis event like March of 2020, Bitcoin's in the beginning stages of this non-correlation, it doesn't have the strength. It will get pulled down with it. But that doesn't mean to say we are not in the beginning stages of this break in correlation. I think this is something that is going to continue to trend into the massive 2021 bull market. By the way, I got an epic video tomorrow. I'm really excited about you guys talking about the 2021 boom will look very differently than the other ones. And I want you guys to be prepared for it. So I've got a video for you tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe. Oh, by the way, click subscribe, share, do all the things I need you to do. I really appreciate it. And the next thing, and this is the big one. This is where I really want Alessio's opinion here. So let's go back to his video. And we can see his trend lines here. And once again, Alessio is a very experienced trader. I'm not gonna teach him anything he hasn't seen for sure. I'm just curious about why he's chosen these trend lines. So he's chosen these trend lines here where it's just, we got one touch, two touches. And I mean, I guess you could say there's the third touch. It showed a little bit of resistance here. We paused for a few days. And then this trend line especially, we got one touch on a wick and, you know, maybe another couple touches on a wick. I'll give it 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's give him that. And so, I've hit go. And so my question is, and I'm sure there's a very, very good reason, but let's come down here to the Bitcoin chart. When I see that trend, for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, you notice I've been using very, very different trend lines. And actually it's easier to draw when you can't see this. Let's take this off because we didn't know that all this stuff was going to happen. So, well, first step is I'm talking about we're going through the bodies of the candles, yeah? Bodies of the candles. And that puts this trend line in place for me. Here I got one touch, two touch, a little bit of resistance, but a bit far away. One touch, two touch, three touch, and then support, 4, 5, 6, all on the bodies of the candles. To me, a very, very strong trend line. And then on the bottom side, when we connect the bodies of the candles, you get something that looks like this. And again, we got one touch, two touch, three touch, 4 touch, 5 touch, and then support, resistance, 6 touch, 7 touch, 8 touch. There's just these really powerful trend lines on the board at the moment. And I'm wondering why, the reason this came up was when you extend this trend line out, we see that this was predicting when the Bitcoin price was like 13,000, Alessio's trend line came straight through here and chopped it off, and he was surprised by this uptick up here. But I wasn't at all. In fact, I predicted it, and I said, no, I think we're going to head up to close to 14,000 because that's where this trend line is. This is the dominant trend line. For well over 6 months now, or about 6 months, Bitcoin has been in this very neat channel. The lines aren't quite parallel, but they're pretty close. And so I 100% expected it to go up to 14,000. And my question really boils down to this, because I have no doubt Alessio's seen this. And the question from an amateur to a seasoned trader is, why did you choose those trend lines? The fact that it turned out wrong and it went past that trend line is not a big deal. That happens all the time. The question is, why did you do that? And I'm sure there was a really good reason. I think it's to do with the fact that it's so engulfing. Because here you can see we broke out of this trend and came back, and here we're above the trend and back. I mean, I get it, but just there was so many powerful touches on these trend lines. Why? What was the strategy behind using the engulfing trend lines where just like 1 or 2 touches? So yeah, that's the video for today, guys. Now tomorrow's video is going to be super cool, super cool. So, you know, I've been around in Bitcoin for a long time, since 2012. The 2013 boom and the 2017 boom were very, very similar. And I think you're going to be very interested in tomorrow. We're going to have a price prediction. We're going to go back and revisit those booms. And I'm going to make several predictions about why this boom is going to be different. It's going to look different. It's going to have different highs, different lows, different ebb and flow to the whole thing. And I think you're going to be fascinated by it, and you're going to be excited about what I'm doing, and as I chart it all out and show you where I think we're going. So make sure you do that. Subscribe, like, share, do all the wonderful things. Much love to everybody, and I will see you guys tomorrow.